What's going on, everyone? It is time for another Snaps guest, and I could not be more pleased. Well, I guess I could be more pleased because I'm about to get lambasted once again. But we have the Longhorn legend on himself, Colt McCoy, a man who started 53 games in college football, 12-year NFL vet, two-time All-American, Maxwell, Davey O'Brien, Manny. He's got his number 12 retired by the Texas Longhorns. The quarterback, Colt McCoy. Colt, what's up, man? A pretty good Wednesday, pretty good week to be a Texas Longhorn fan, I'd say.
Yeah, pretty good week, man. They looked awesome down there in Titletown. Pretty proud of those guys, and yeah, it's a good week to be a Longhorn right now for sure.
And I guess for you, even a little sweeter too, because of your last college game was against Alabama. You went down a year ago. Ewers went down versus Alabama. All they needed was a quarterback just to stay healthy through the game. That's all it took to beat the Crimson Tide, right?
You know, the amount of calls and texts, and last year when Quinn got hurt against Alabama, that was horrible because I felt like they really had a chance. And this year he stayed healthy, and I think what you're seeing with Texas right now is like just the fruits of patience and letting Sark build a team, right? All these guys that played, a few nights ago and beat Alabama are all the same guys who played last year, right? They had some growing pains, but Sark and his staff, have been building something that they truly believe in, and I think all of that paid off, by what you saw Saturday at Alabama. And it's hard for teams to go in there and beat a powerhouse like that at their home. Like that's really hard to do, and I think Texas just has built something pretty special, and hopefully they can keep it going.
Well, and that's something that we talked about, Monday after rewatching the game. Is the thing that jumps off the screen is not just the win, but it's kind of the sustainable elements within the win, right? Like they just dominated the trenches, and that's going to win you pretty much any football game going to be in. So I know, like, functionally, if I ask you what's the difference with this year's Texas, you could say, like, well, I mean, look at them. They're great on line of scrimmage. But is it more than that? Has there been a culture change that has taken place over the last couple of years? Because my whole deal was like, okay, don't tell me Texas talent. They've always had talent, but that's not the problem. But this year, the talent is actually effective and successful and tough. I mean, they survived some real haymakers on Saturday.
Yeah, I think, I wanted to watch, me and Hester and Bobby were talking yesterday, and like, we just wanted to see like the first couple of drives of the game and just see like the physicality, the line of scrimmage, like who's giving, who's winning that battle.
Yeah.
And it was very apparent from the beginning that Texas was not going to back down. And I think, again, I'll kind of repeat myself here, but like it's important for teams to maybe like think about what Texas has done. Think about the staff. This is Sark's third year there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've always had talent. The talent's only going to get you so far, right? Quinn had a lot of good games last year, and he probably had some games that he wanted back. Like he was pretty up and down, right? But it wasn't just that. It was just they were playing a lot of young guys on both fronts, right? Secondary was young. Like there's a lot of things about that team. They got a lot of experience last year, and they lost a bunch of games late in the fourth quarter that would have changed, their win-loss record. And so to me, like I've seen this team, climbing and climbing and climbing. Like, and I think what you saw, on Saturday was basically that, like a team that figured out how to win in the fourth quarter, how to like put a full game together. You saw a little bit of it against Rice. And now, if I'm Texas, like I think you just accomplished something that you've talked about for 3 years, right? You've been building for that. And now like, okay, now that's the expectation. Let's keep that. And I think it's going to be exciting to watch. I don't think the Big 12 is that good. And I think they have a chance to do something pretty special after that.
Listen, I got Texas going against Georgia in the national championship this year, so I'm all about a little burnt orange and a red and black in that natty. Another reason why Texas is the line of scrimmage play, and you kind of brought up Ewers a little bit. Man, the way he anticipates throwing the football is next level. I mean, he just lets it rip. And he knocked a tight end in the head the other day in the first game versus Rice. But, like, you better tell those guys, man, when I hit my back step, you better get that head around. What is his pro potential? And is he the best quarterback Texas has had since you?
I think you watch Quinn, and there's not a throw that he can't make, and that's one of the things that Sark had been telling me for a while. And like you look at some games last year, like he's not scared to push the ball down the field, and Sark's nature is to be aggressive. And I think if you're Quinn, like you look at the guys that are around you, the skill guys. You got three backs who are like plug and play, and they're all great. You got receivers on the outside who can all have speed and all got great ball skills. They can go get deep balls, keep taking your shots. You got a tight end who'd probably be a top first or second round pick in the NFL whenever he wants to come out. And then you got a young offensive line who's playing good. Like if I'm Quinn and starts coaching him up, I'm saying keep taking shots, keep being aggressive. Like you don't have to win the games. Just execute the offense. When it's time to take a shot, take a shot. We need to check it down. Like we're gonna stay ahead of the chains in the run game and make this as simple as possible for Quinn, because there's not a throw that he can't make. And I felt like, the risk reward factor with playing quarterback, Aaron, you know what I'm talking about? Like I felt like Quinn nailed that Saturday night. Like he knew when to take his shots. He knew when to take a sack. He knew when to check it down. Like that's showing maturity, and that's showing progress within, their system and what they want to do. And, if he continues to play like that, I would also say, like, don't put a lot of pressure on yourself. Like there's already enough pressure playing at UT, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't won in a while. Like the expectations are always high. And, now that you're in this position, just kind of hone in and be yourself and execute the plays that I call. And you got enough good talent around you, it's going to be all right.
Well, and it's kind of interesting because I know that Ewers has talked about that, some of the mental pressure that he felt last year, and it kind of led to him maybe pushing a bit or feeling a bit uncomfortable at other times. But that last part, you talk about the talent around him, something that me and Aaron have talked a lot about on Snaps last year, and it's something that, like, I know sounds obvious to y'all too, with y'all's QB experience, but I don't know if the general public really appreciates it, is just how much having elite weapons helps, right? Because we always think about quarterbacks elevating everybody else, and we don't think about that kind of going back into the quarterback. Like, just like, to what extent does it help you reach that next level at QB when you have guys like A.D. Mitchell and everybody else there on the outside, and the trio of running backs and the great offensive line?
Oh, it helps tremendously. Like Aaron can vouch for that. Like you have guys who are going to win their matchups. You feel pretty good about playing quarterback. And again, on top of that, like, Sark's expertise is calling plays, right? He gets matchups. He finds mismatches. Like, where you're going with the football a lot of times before you get the ball in your hand, right? And so I think a combination of all that, I think Texas is in a good spot, and they just have to understand that the target's on their back now. You've sort of hit that mark that you wanted to be when all the things that you talked about last year and in the offseason and going into this year and finishing in the fourth quarter. Like they did that on national TV in a big moment. And, you're going to get everybody's best shot from here on out.
So obviously Texas is going to the SEC, and I think there was some worry of, is Texas ready to compete in the SEC? Well, you went into a place that only one team has won out of the past 53 times in Tuscaloosa, and you beat Nick Saban and Alabama in their home. Is there more of a sense of confidence now from the Texas faithful that, hey, we are ready to move to the SEC? We are ready to play in this league come next year?
I think Texas, like, the expectations are so high. Doesn't matter the season, win, the talent, like everybody wants to win. And so people are always on the bandwagon. But I would say that people who may have doubted, I think they probably jumped on the bandwagon at this point. Like,
oh, T-Bob.
What? Like what? What are we even talking about? Who could that be? I don't know. I mean, look. I
well,
just
about somebody in your office.
I just wanted to challenge Texas to be great. Okay. I just wanted to challenge, and you know what? They did it. And if I got to accept blowback for that, you're welcome.
I would think I would think there's a lot of people in your position. Like, look,
I would
Texas
say
is
so.
always
Yes.
like talent. Like, when are they gonna figure this out? And I think you saw, like, from a team building perspective and from a goals perspective and from like a culture perspective, the things that Sark has been building over the last 3 years, I think that he's like, I told y'all, you bought in. Like, now we got to do that every week. That's the expectation.
Hey, Colt, T-Bob also crowned Miami dead, and they'll never be relevant ever again. So he single-handedly motivated two mega brands back to life this weekend. It's amazing what one man can do. Amazing what one man can do.
Aaron, you literally said A&M was going to smash Miami by double digits.
But I never said the Miami brand was dead. I never said Miami brand was dead.
Look, man, take a lot of shots.
Is the A&M brand dead?
I'll let you answer that. You're in the state.
Yeah.
Is A&M dead with Texas rolling and Texas joining the SEC? Is A&M's chances of ever having that mega big step? Is that in the rearview mirror?
I mean, I don't know what step you're talking about, but I would say that A&M is not dead. They're a great program. Like, highly respect Jimbo Fisher. I think that, all I care about is bringing that game back and us going to the SEC and having the opportunity to play the Aggies again, home or away. Like, that's just a great game that was one of my favorites in college. And I'm so thankful that we made that move and we get that game back. Like, that was the biggest deal to me. I love it.
Hell yeah. I'd say this on A&M, Colt. A&M will never be they're never that far away, right? Because they have all the natural resources, everything else.
Right.
I am willing to declare the Jimbo era dead. I don't know. Is that a step too far? I just we're going through all the numbers and there's really nothing to hang your hat on. And it's like a pretty big sample size. Like, even if you combined end of Jimbo at Florida State into his time at A&M without Mike Elko, so I don't know. I feel
like they've just, for years and years, just been like a quarterback away, to be honest.
I feel like they're just like the kind of the head man away. They're surfing a little Bear Bryant curse. But don't worry, guys. It only takes $150 million to flip over the whole staff. So, that's chump change. Come on, you little poor boys, you Aggies, make it happen. Colt, what is the?
That's funny.
What is? Somebody did send me that today. It's not just Jimbo's buyout with the assistants factored in. We're talking probably to hire new staff like $150 million price tag. Colt. So, like you said,
I'm available. I'm just saying.
What we talked about earlier, though, sustainable was the thing that kept coming to my mind watching Texas. Like, these are things that can carry forward into every game this season against every opponent. So then, what becomes the ceiling for Texas after going into T-Town and winning by 10?
Yeah, I think that's a great word, sustainable. I think, this is just me talking. Like, I don't think there's really anything outside of the Oklahoma game that's going to, surprise us. Or that game is always circled. So even if you both, Oklahoma and Texas, are 0-5 heading into that game, it's still going to be a good game. Like, that's still a rivalry, and that could go either way. But I just think the Big 12 in general is down this year, right? Yeah. But you can't sleepwalk into any of these games, right? Baylor's 90 miles away, right? Like, that's going to be a good game. Like, you got to be prepared for those. Mm-hmm. And so for Texas, like we talked about earlier, just understanding that, what you've built now you have everything that you would ever want right in front of you, right? You got the Big 12 championship in front of you. You got maybe a spot in the college football playoffs in front of you. You're a top 5 team. Like, you just did something on Saturday night that not many teams have done in a long time, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's watching you. So how do you respond? How do you sustain, what you've built so far? And I think that's a task for Sark and his staff. But I also think it's a task for Quinn and the football team, and saying, like, no, this is the expectation. This is who we are. Let's play like this every week. And if they do that, like, it's easier said than done, but they got a true shot at doing something pretty special.
How is the mini retirement right now? Any itch to get back on the football field? Are you enjoying the golf course?
I've been taking my kids to school every morning. Nice. I went and saw some second opinion doctors on my elbow just to make sure that, I'm as good as I feel. Like, I feel good. So we'll see. Got some options.
No.
But it's a nice day here in Phoenix playing some golf. I guess after I dropped my kids off, I did a little workout, and it's like, what else? What do you do? What else do you do?
Play golf.
Just go hit some balls.
Yeah.
Dude, it was fascinating. My old man played QB in the NFL for like 15 years. So I was fascinated to watch him go through that same process, right? Where he'd say, he's like, drops off at school. He's like, he just got super in shape. He just got like an 8-pack. That was his answer to the problem. Last one here. And tell me, like, I don't care if you don't have an opinion, that's fine. But Cole, I don't know how much college football you get to watch on a day-to-day basis. Have you checked in on Shedeur Sanders at all? We've been doing a lot of Shedeur Sanders take 12 years. I'd love to get your longtime NFL vet opinion of how he plays the quarterback position.
Yeah, I watched the TCU game. I didn't get to catch much of the Nebraska game. I just saw highlights. But they are fun to watch. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like they have some skill. Like they, they're fun to watch. I mean, they're like must-watch TV right now, especially with just Coach Prime and Shedeur and all the little like quick, shifty dudes. Travis Hunt. I mean, they're fun to watch. I don't know what's going to happen for them the rest of the season, but like I think just off the TCU game, Shedeur like played at an elite level. Like he made some throws down the field when he needed to. He stayed ahead of the chains. He knew when it was quick game and when to get completions. They got him out of the pocket a few times, pushed the ball down the field. Like I just thought he was super efficient. If he plays that way, they're going to be hard to beat. I don't know how good their offensive line is, but his accuracy on deep balls, that jumped out to me. I mean, I haven't really talked about it. Nobody's really asked you about that, but I would just say that I've been very impressed. And, for a guy to come in and do that, like against a team that was just in the national championship on the road, like that's not easy. And so that automatically earns you a lot of respect when you're talking about quarterback play across the country. And hopefully he can continue because they are a fun team to watch.
The legend himself, Colt McCoy, a great week to be a Longhorn. Colt, thank you so much for taking up enough of your time. You're on the golf course. You go have fun, my friend. Here's to whatever comes this fall for you. We'll be watching and waiting with bated breath. But thank you so much for joining us today, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, Aaron. Thanks for sticking with it and keeping me honest. I knew I was going to get on the show at some point. It just finally worked out.
We always love it. We would love to have you on in the future, man. But I understand golfing, fly fishing, babies.
I was
Snaps is down the list. Trust me, Snaps is down the list. I'd be doing the same thing.
No, it's good. Okay, man. You guys have a good day.